Just a few steps past the Mars area high school, there is a place known by the inhabitants of this small town as magical, mystical, possibly, yes, the most nostalgic place on the planet. The Mars-Bethel Golf Course and its madcap artistic proprietor has transformed this place into a must-see entertainment destination for all of Western Pennsylvania. This nostalgic treasure trove is surrounded in mystery, however. It is that once again, since the 60s, the talk of this small town. Yes, the mystery is immense. What's happening at the Mars-Bethel Golf Course? No one knows, but one thing that is for sure, it is going to be unbelievable. Yes, it will be amazing. And yes, it will be one of a kind. You will not find out here on the Hunting Nostalgia Halloween special what that will be. You'll have to wait until spring. But this episode is filled with tons of Halloween fun, only on Hunting Nostalgia.
Remember all the fun and joy of your favorite game or childhood toy. If only you could feel that way again. Well, you don't have to go back in time, 'cause Nick and friends can help you find long lost treasures you once loved. Let's go hunting nostalgia.
New York City, a city so glowing with ambition it can be seen from space, at least from as far away as Mars. A town where the use of a car is not necessity, however, talent is essential to survival. You're about to see that now on full display here on Hunting Nostalgia.
Jerry here I'm in the concrete jungle where dreams are made of, New York City. And today, I plan to enter this city and hunt for nostalgia. What better place to find some nostalgia than to go to the biggest con in the East Coast, New York Comic-Con. We're in a place where you could release your inner geek. So, all toy collectors, all comic book fans, all movie buffs, all anime lovers, all Star Wars gurus, all wrestling fans. Let's start the hunt. Seeing how NYCC is usually held at the beginning of October every year and has amazing cosplayers, it kind of signals the start of the Halloween season here in the city. This also gives us an opportunity to see just who everyone will be wearing this Halloween. So, who are you guys wearing?
Hawkman.
Hawk Girl.
Awesome. And tell me, how long did it take you guys to make these awesome costumes?
Years and years. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, I sew everything. He does all the props. So, yeah, so the sewing takes his skirt. I call it a skirt. It's not a skirt, but that took a while because I had to hand cut every single little thing and then sew every single one on. So, several weeks.
I'm 70s Barbie.
And I'm wearing 70s Ken.
And notice, they're limited edition.
Yes, one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Very unique.
So, Halloween and cosplay.
Well, we're here at Comic-Con, so cosplay, and we are dressed.
100% cosplay. We're actually from New Zealand, and in New Zealand at the Comic-Con, 100% of people dress up.
Yeah.
So 100% commitment always at cosplay.
And check out who we got here. Tell me, buddy, who are you wearing?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Gotta love the web crawler. Up in New York City, definitely. Cosplay Halloween. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're gonna get any answers from this guy.
We love Halloween so much, that's why we come.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. One of our rooms is a haunted room in our house, so I don't know. They're pretty evenly matched. But I guess Comic-Con in some ways is a little bit better.
It's a love for both.
I'd have to say Comic-Con because, for one thing, Comic-Con lasts more than one day. That way you have more than one costume option. Because for Halloween, I can never decide, do I want to go with this, or this? But with Comic-Con, you can just make one for each day.
Now, those were some of the world's best cosplayers I've ever seen. But there's no place to hunt for nostalgia than Comic-Con. I think we should get this hunt started. How is this weekend going for you?
It is absolutely insane. I personally love New York Comic Con. I've been going as a fan since 2014, but over the past 2 years, I brought Noise Toys to the show. We're finally here. It's been absolutely amazing. What an awesome experience so far. And we're only on day 2.
Here we are at NYCC, and we have an artist that's going to bring the art and nostalgia, Jamie Coker.
My whole thing when it comes to my artwork is I always try to look for something different, something I haven't seen before, but also something that can touch back, maybe like to your childhood, or like the good old days, as I like to call it, that kind of thing. And that's what inspired my Villainous Villains series. So if you look at it, it all started with Skeletor. Skeletor is near and dear to my heart. I melted one on a light bulb when I was younger. That's a long story. But I always remembered how great he made me feel, so he was the first one in the series. After that, Cobra Commander, that voice, I mean, every character so far that I've done in the Villainous Villains series, when you really break it down to what makes them great is the things that connected with you and your kid, the voices, the looks. When you see Skeletor, that's Skeletor. When you hear that voice, like, hey man, it's like Skeletor. Cobra Commander, I mean, they touch that inner child in you, and then when you combine it with the toys, like I do in the artwork, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, bro. You know, I always try to base the toys off of things you could have bought in the 80s and 90s, and just getting the chance to connect those two things. Hopefully, every time someone sees one of the Villainous Villains, they will be like, you know what? That takes me right back. I had that toy, or I know who that character is, or I love that cartoon. And that's the goal every single time.
And that's exactly what we're looking for, that nostalgia.
It's Chris and Carrie. We're from the Bronx, Toys Alive.
Hi, how are you? I'm Carrie, this is Chris.
I'm Chris.
Nice to meet you guys. So here in the con, I mean, we're big on nostalgia, and I got main question for you two. Tell me something you found here that's so nostalgic.
Well, being Toys Alive, we're looking for those really vintage, cool pieces.
Yes.
You can find tons of toys here, but if you know toys, you want to look for things like this.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this. Now, I found this at a comic booth, which is one of the coolest things. Like, you go to a comic booth and you find the best toys, right? So this guy had this sitting here right at the edge, and this is an original G1 Optimus Prime in unbelievable condition. I opened it up. Is actually a first run of Optimus Prime, and if you look at the printing on the bottom, you actually see that it's a T. You can see the stamping shows you it's also all original. Light blue, which is another thing that tells you it's one of the first runs of the Primes, and these are some of the things that people will walk right by. I mean, we walked by here maybe like 3 or 4 times before we noticed it, sitting right here. Super gem.
2020's NYC was canceled, and last year's definitely, things weren't back to normal. One thing is clear though, 2022, New York Comic Con is back. We had a successful nostalgic hunt, saw what cool stuff is going on the way, and the costumes, guys, if it's any indication of what Halloween's gonna be, you should know it's gonna be epic. Follow me right here, and as always, keep on hunting.
Belief. Belief in anything is extremely crucial, especially around Halloween time. It's the same belief you have when you roll your ball down these oily lanes here at Mars Lanes and it strikes the pins that indeed, yes, there will be a sound. That is the same belief that Elvira Taylor has entrusted in this toy-sniffing weirdo. You're about to see that trust now on full display. Elvira Taylor and her moment of nostalgia. Take it away.
Hey everybody, it's Elvira from the Doll Circle, and today I'm doing for my moment of nostalgia something Halloween themed. I cannot believe it's Halloween already again. I felt like we just did a Halloween episode, but I'm living for it. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday of the year, and I love anything spooky. So let's get into it. Today I wanted to talk about Universal Monsters, some of my favorites, some of the classics, and one of my favorite new pieces into my collection for the Universal Monsters series. You're probably wondering why I have green makeup on, because I'm doing a mixture of Bride of Frankenstein with my hair and Frankenstein with my makeup. And it's actually for another video that I'm shooting today, and it worked out great for right now. So, and I also have an appointment at 3 o'clock today, so that'll be really interesting walking in looking like this. So let's, and I am too. I go out like this. I do not care. I feel like it's spooky season, so they're gonna see me in makeup full month, right? So Monster High, as you're familiar, I'm a huge fan of Monster High, anything Monster High, and they just did a reboot with our 3rd generation of Monster High dolls this fall season, and for the collector series, guess what they released? The Bride of Frankenstein 2-piece doll set with Bride and Frankenstein. So cute! I feel like I'm like their child right now, a mixture of both of them. They did such a good job for the Skeletor set. Now, going into classic Hollywood, you look back at some of the iconic monsters. We have everything from Creature of the Black Lagoon to Werewolf, of course, Frankenstein, Dracula, Nosferatu back in the 20s. I mean, to think that these films have really impacted Halloween, horror, everything spooky up until now. Because you have to think about the first vampire, quote unquote, was Nosferatu, and then going into like Bela Lugosi's Dracula, who's such an icon. I mean, everything stems from the classics. So let me show you what they did for an inspiration for the modern take on the original Frankenstein Monster High dolls. I love this. Like, this is my newest piece to my spooky collection, and I love it because it's a marriage between all things spooky and, of course, dolls. I mean, even down to his shoes. Look at the shoes. They did such a great job on this set. And for me, Frankenstein is one of those, wasn't originally one of my favorite monsters. I always was like a huge Dracula vampire fan. Of course. I mean, come on. Some of the best movies out there are vampire movies, just saying. And I just really like that they're trying to do something a little different. Because they could have went, and they have done in Monster High, the collector series dolls, done modern movies like Beetlejuice and The Shining, but they went back really far in horror movie history to go and do The Bride of Frankenstein, which came out in the 30s. The 1930s. To think that this movie is like 90 years old, and to this day they're still doing iconic pieces for that. I am living. I love it so much. And again, wasn't one of my favorite films, but after receiving this, I've been deep diving into the Bride of Frankenstein and the Frankenstein lore, so to speak, and honestly, it's taking me over, and it's showing me stuff that I didn't even really realize about Frankenstein, and even down to the parodies of like Young Frankenstein, which is a classic. I mean, it's showing me a lot of other films that I really didn't think about looking deeper into. So honestly, I like that when brands and companies keep making Universal Monsters and a lot of the classic toys, because it's showing a different audience stuff that they maybe didn't even know existed, or shining a new light onto a monster that honestly I never gave a lot of love to, but now I'm kind of like, he's really super cute. And I really love it. And of course, the bride is just so iconic. Like, she's just so beautiful and striking, and her facial expressions, like, like, it's just so good. Now, I want to know, hit me up on Instagram, what are your favorite Universal monsters? Because maybe there's something that I need to watch that I didn't know I haven't seen in so long. Because I remember watching stuff about Frankenstein as a kid, but never really deep diving into it as much as I have recently. Like I said, I've always been a really huge vampire/Dracula fan my whole life, but now I've got this new love and respect for Frankenstein. And there's so many different brands out there that make a lot of really cool Universal Monster collectibles. I mean, there's something out there for a little bit of everyone, and I feel like you have to really really give homage to the classics to show where toys have gone today. Because a lot of inspiration to a lot of our scary, spooky toys come from classic Halloween/horror films. I mean, I always call everything Halloween, but like it's like horror films and spooky films. And I just really would love to see like what your favorites are, and hit me up on Instagram. I'm on the Doll Circle or at Elvira Taylor, and definitely let me know what are some of the classic horror film characters that have inspired you to fall in love with the horror genre. And for me, like I said, it's always been vampires and Dracula, but now with this new Skeletor series by Monster High, I'm honestly like really in love with Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. It came out of nowhere, and now I'm like, I have to walk around in green makeup every day. So it's been fun talking about Universal monsters and showing you the new Skeletor series. So let me know, like I said, on Instagram what you think. And until next moment of nostalgia, I'm Elvira Taylor. Back to you, Nick.
Welcome back, Elvira. Oh, I'm so happy that you're back for Halloween. I knew that you wouldn't miss it. Now, it is so hilarious to me that every Halloween, you look so much better than I do every other day of the year. Welcome back. And talking about Halloween, I'm going to take you to Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I'm going to show you something that you've never, ever seen before. And you could never believe it in a million years. I walk into this yard, and there are tiny, they're tiny little real caskets. They're actual replicas from a funeral home. This guy works at a funeral home, and he decorates his yard for quite a good deal of the year, Halloween style, and it's awesome. But the reason that I'm in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, oh my, the reason I'm in Latrobe, Pennsylvania is this guy right here. The JYD, the Junkyard Dog, brother. The one toy that I thought, there's no way I'm ever gonna find this ever again. This was my holy grail, as they call them. You know, I never used that word, but this was the #1 toy that I was looking for. You know, this is kind of what started Hunting Nostalgia, was this, the search for this guy. And I came to terms with it a long time ago that I was never gonna find him, okay? So one day my phone rang, and it's this mysterious voice. And he says, "Hey, Nick," he goes, "I got what you want." I said, "Oh my, what is that?" But he said, "I got what you're looking for." And I'm like, "Who is this?" He says, "I have the Junkyard Dog LJN stretch figure from 1986. I said, "There's no way. How? How is that possible? These things mold, they dry up, they leak. You get the tiniest little hole in him, and out spurts this white powder. And you can't stop it. It just all flows out of them. It's a nightmare." And that's precisely what I did on Christmas, 1986, on top of this Pipeworks car here. I had just opened up the JYD, and I was thrilled. It was my favorite toy from that Christmas, my absolute favorite toy. And I destroyed it within hours. I remember I was in my grandmother's kitchen, and I was abusing that sucker. And man, ripped his armpits, and that white powder was coming out. He was finished. And on the other end of this phone from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, was a guy telling me, "I have it for you." And he said, "I don't even want you to buy it off of me." He said, "I want you to find me an Ecto-1. So I went to my storage closet and grabbed what I had, and then completed the rest of it at one of my local toy stores that you could find on thetoystoreguide.com. And I completed Ecto-1, and I brought it. And the story, the most amazing story you're about to see, here it is. Take it away, Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I'm about to walk into probably the most excited I've ever been, and knowing if you've ever seen even a second of this show, you know how unbelievable that is. I'm here to see my new best buddy in the world, Ron, and he reached out to me through the grapevine. He found me, and he told me he wanted to trade some items. You know how that makes me feel. Somebody trading, they understand the appreciation of these items. They understand they're not just little plastic dolly wallies, as my kids call them. Where's Nick? Oh, he's downstairs, Mom, playing with his dolly wallies. That's all right. You know, that is okay. And I'm about to walk into probably the most epic find that I've ever had in my life. I've been looking for this specific, I'm not telling you what it is yet. I've been looking for this specific item since 1987. And about 5 minutes from now, I'm going home with it. This is it. This is my new best friend, Ron. And I gotta tell you, I have to say that I have given up on certain items from my childhood, like 1987 Christmas on top of that Pipeworks car. I never, ever in a billion years thought I would recapture the JYD, brother. We got that chunk dog. Ho, ho. But Ron told me that he was interested in a trade. And you know, as soon as I hear those words, trade, I'm like, we got a common spirit here. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't interested in, just making the money off of these items. He wanted to replace that feeling. You wanted to replace that feeling with, I gotta say, I love Knight Rider. I love Kit from Knight Rider. But I do have to say, this may be my favorite cinematic vehicle of all time. This is what you were after. So tell me a little bit of the story about this specifically.
Well, as all kids did, I peeked in my Christmas presents and then had to wait like a week and just to get it. And
now, did that ruin it a little for you?
No. It just made me want it more, and then it just, it was. I put myself through torture for that week. How long it was.
You shouldn't have peeked.
But and then I kept it and actually bought another one at the flea market, like probably I was in my 20s, and like most people do, I gave all my toys to my nephew, and I got some of them back, and who knows where some of them went to.
So was this one of them?
Yeah.
And you probably beat this sucker. I mean, you probably had Egon and Winston.
And it had a grappling hook in the back, which it has.
Oh yeah.
And I used to take the back door off, and it actually wore a groove in the bumper for me because I would pull stuff. I just didn't use it for Ghostbusters. I used it for everything.
Well, why not? It was the 80s.
I mean, I would put other cars with it and everything else. So.
Oh, dude, that is so neat.
It got played with a lot.
I was so excited to have an exchange. Wait till you see this. This is the part I cannot. Like I said, I haven't since 1987. I've wanted this item because underneath their arms, when you stretch them, they rip, or their neck, or their crotch, whatever it may be, they will be destroyed. But this is what I'm here today in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for. Here's one. Oh my gosh! Hulkamania running wild, brother. Can you believe it? Now this is the one. Grab them kicks, baby. Oh my God. I honestly never in a million years thought that this would happen. I never thought I would gain this piece back. And there it is. I can't believe I'm about to do this. I can't, this honestly, you saw the picture. This feels like 1987 all over again. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh man! I'm the king of the WWF, brother. Oh, this is amazing. I can't believe this. I cannot. This means the world to me. Just to invite me in, you got to see this house. It's unbelievable. You talk about Halloween decorations, and you have made not only my day. This is the one item that I've been searching for since I started.
And they've been sitting on a shelf in the basement for the past 35 years, probably.
Oh my gosh, dude, this is the greatest.
Just never threw them away.
Oh, thank you. You know what? I know who I need to thank. Your parents.
Yeah.
Because truthfully, it's that they are the reason that you've kept these.
Yeah, that's because you never got on my butt to get rid of them.
Thank you. This made my day, man. This is hunting nostalgia. This is so awesome. Thanks, dude.
No problem.
Ghostbusters! Okay, where are those ghosts? Yow! They're everywhere. Already listening to XO1. Bateman, where ghosts? Bathroom.
The real Ghostbusters, each sold separately. From Kenner.
We ain't afraid of no ghosts. Yeah.
Like tons and tons of holidays, traditions are always part of the fun, or maybe the most fun, Like Halloween, dressing up for Halloween. I started out as a devil. That was a good one. I didn't get to choose that one. But then, 2 years later, 1986, here, I got to be the big guy. Hulkamania, running wild, brother. I have to say, my cousin Clint was a terrifying clown this year. But then, I'll stand up for him. I'll stick up for him. The next 13 years after that, he rotated back and forth as a pirate and Dracula. But anyways, traditions. Another tradition that is fantastic about Halloween is there's always that one house. I don't even have to explain any further. There's always, in every town, there's always that one house. Maybe you save it to the very end of the night, you know? Or maybe you do it first to get it out of the way because maybe it's just too terrifying to be pitch black to go there. That was the case for me. I always wanted to go to this place. It was very close to my home, but I lived out in the country. There was not many neighbors actually around, so I would go to different towns around, Valencia, Mars, wherever I would go to actually trick or treat. But there was always one stop, and this house also was out in the country. It was my buddy Neal Wadowski. I played Little League with Neal, and it was his house. And his family took Halloween to a completely different level. I was, and I'm not kidding you at all, I would think about it every single Halloween. From the time I was dressing up as whatever it would be, the Hulkster, I was the Mask, I was Bob Dole one year, and I don't even know why, but I thought about going to the Wadowski house. Oh my, it was only a few streets over from mine, so you would walk up and you would hear it. You would hear the sounds, the terrifying howling or whatever it was. I can hear it right now. And the door was always covered in this like paper, and it had these bloody handprints on it. There would be people screaming in the bushes. It was absolutely terrifying. But the walk up, the anticipation, which my mother-in-law says, anticipation's half the fun. It's not all the time. But I was walking up to this house terrified, and I knew it was about to get even scarier. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm going to let you see it yourself. Here it is. This is my childhood experience. They still do it right now. You can go to this home and trick or treat. I'm going to show you my daughter and my niece going last year to the Wadowski house to experience the most unbelievable Halloween experience you will ever see. Here we go. Gianna, Elena, take it away. Elena, come on, you gotta get up there. Yeah, get up there. So you gotta say trick or treat, come on. Get up there, get up there. Get up there and you gotta say trick or treat. Come on, Elena. Stand there with Gianna.
Trick or treat.
Would you like to come in for a bite? It's often been said that parting is such sweet sorrow. Those people have never seen the Hunting Nostalgia Halloween special. Today has neither been sweet nor sorrowful. It has, however, been extremely Halloweeny, and that's thanks to all of you. Elvira Taylor, the Toy Store Guide, the Wadowski family, Jerry, and yes, even the angriest of cameramen. This would not have happened without the help of all of you. I will see you next Halloween. Happy Halloween from Hunting Nostalgia.
Wait. Stop. Nick. Walk the line that we discussed.
Did I not?
I can see your sneakers. Can you just once, please act professional?
Can you see them for real?
Look at you. That's effing sugar, dude.
It's powder from my fake cigarettes.
That's sugar for the gum, dude.
They're good.
You're wasting my time.
This is tie it. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Ask him. He's got a tie on.
Get out.
I mean, he clearly doesn't know how to wear a suit. Look how fat he looks.
This is not even my suit.
Shocker.
Top one?
It's not even your tie either.
No, it is my shirt though.
Oh my God. All right, first, let's do this.
I knew that was coming. You're gonna kill me.